People, don't they know it's Christmas time again? Yeah, that's right. Yesterday I had a company over, got together with some family, extended family, and I got to make a video about this. This was pretty unusual for me, and maybe just unusual period. Doesn't come up much, but I found myself talking to a farmer. Good, involved conversations about big topics, which is what I like to do. I usually do it on the internet. This was in person, so I took the opportunity to really talk with a live person back and forth. Now, one of the people was a person I bring up in my videos, a person I live with, heart patient who's eating low carb, and the other person I had just met, and he is a farmer. Now, I didn't initiate any of these topics, which is very interesting. They just happen. Usually I have to try to make something happen. But just before the conversation got interesting, I was drifting off, and then I came back, and then I heard people were talking about GMOs. This farmer guy was talking about GMOs, and so I was thinking, wow, here's something I could get in on. But I don't think, I never did. There was nothing, he didn't say anything controversial, and then he moved on to talking about organic food, and that's what I want to talk about here. I got to get this out of my system. He started telling a story about how some farmer he knows was able to get his whole farm certified organic when it's not. Only one row of trees is organic, and they certified the whole place, which I have my doubts about, and even my low-carb housemate said he's skeptical of most of the things this guy said. Now, also recently in our high-carb vegan community here, someone recently made a video attacking organic food, and I could make a video partially debunking that video, but there was some good points in it. And this guy I was talking to yesterday, he also made some good points. And I had just come out of a daydream, and so I was questioning him. This farmer that you knew who did this, does he grow conventional? He grows conventional food? I was asking. Because see, I hadn't really heard the story. Oh, and he talks real fast. So I didn't realize the other part of the point of the story is he's got conventional food. But my point I was trying to get to was that, and he had trouble answering my question. Like he didn't want to. He just wanted to keep talking. You know those kind of people? But I got him to say, yeah, he grows organic food. And then I go in for my point. But so he's biased then. But he didn't want to hear that word. He kept talking. And then he started saying some other stuff. He's basically making these big claims with his big voice that there's really no such thing as organic food. Oh yeah, he made some kind of statement. Listen to the statement and tell me what you think about it, and then I'll tell you what I think. He said, yeah, I asked this farmer that I know, what's the difference between organic food and non-organic food? And he said something like $2 a pound, or it costs twice as much when it's organic. Now, whether the farmer he knows said that, or he's saying that, what do you make from that statement? If you've watched enough of my videos, can you step back and look at that in a different way? You get a thumbs up if you said, that sounds like political rhetoric. It's rhetoric for sure. It's saying something without saying it. There's no difference in the actual food. It's just a scam to make money. And then I started, this guy seemed like he was emotional and political, and I noticed his voice went up and it got more emotional when he started talking about organic food. And so I said, do you grow conventional food? And again, he had a hard time just answering any questions. He didn't want to answer questions. I got him to say yes. And then I said, well, wouldn't that make you a little bit biased? Just like with people who are being disingenuous and with a tone of rhetoric, the way they talk. You see it a lot in politics. And I had to say the word biased 3 times for him to even hear me. And then I don't think he ever did recognize my point that I had. That I'm not buying it. And this anti-organic rhetoric that it's out there. There's a movement. There's more than a movement against organic food. They're trying to stop organic food using the law. And then there's Monsanto, which is ironic. He said some stuff about GMOs that sounded like he's against it. He didn't sound rhetorical there. But again, he might be biased there because he probably doesn't grow GMOs. See, this guy's just a farmer and he's totally biased. Now I was getting ready to set him up again with another, because when my mother, who had recently entered the room, I was getting ready to say, we've talked about this issue many times, and we're in agreement completely. She said to him that she can taste and see the difference with organic food. And wait till you hear how he responded to this. Keep in mind, we were all being polite, and he had a good personality, that comfortable talking to him. It was a pleasant conversation. So my mom says that she can taste and see the difference with organic food. And he says, in your mind, you might think that you can see and taste the difference. Now, right there, he just gave himself away that he's being disingenuous. That was an overly emotional response. Watch for those. I'm an expert when it comes to food, diet psychology. Although this one, not only was that rude, but he won't even listen. He wouldn't listen to us. He just would not believe anything we said that contradicted what he was saying. I never got a chance to say, I can taste the difference too with carrots and bananas, and I can prove it. I was trapped in there too. He probably wouldn't take me up on that. I don't doubt that organic farmers do use some things. They're just, they're not synthetic chemicals. They're, different things. I mentioned dioxide stuff, natural stuff, not synthetic. Organic chemicals, yes. And there's other things too. And then he said, but they're still chemicals. You ever had somebody like that? He says, chemicals, chemical. Gee. I was dealing with that kind of stuff many years ago. I said some chemicals are worse than others. At this point, there was other people talking, and I think he had left the conversation again. I said, that's where we disagree. See, I searched for where our disagreement really lied, because I care. So what was weird there is that whole conversation we had wasn't really the right argument. Now that I've mentioned a lot of things he said, I want to talk about his appearance. I didn't want that to color all the stuff I've said. I also wanted to save it. Now, I don't mean to get all racist on you, but I think it should be noted that he is a middle-aged white man, and that is a stereotype. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have noticed this. I'm serious. The other thing I noticed before I ever entered the room and talked to him is that he is completely bald. At some point, I looked to see if he had a hairline, and he does. And his hairline just goes way around like that. So all over the top, he's bald. And so he shaves it, like a lot of people do these days, to make it look better. I'm not actually making any claims, but I am saying recently, here on YouTube, some people who are against my message here in my videos point out my hair, and then there's some thinning in that, and they say I'm a bad role model for the diet that I'm promoting because I'm middle-aged, my hair is thinner Now here's a guy who's the same age as me, and so I say, why don't you go after that guy? They'd probably say, well, there's no point. He's not a vegan. That's all I'm saying. And oftentimes, when I would say something, questioning what he was saying, he'd have this big smile. And I don't think I was reading into this. This smile was him saying, oh yeah? Tell me your fairy tales and I will debunk you. It was that kind of smile. And I was smiling right back. Yep, I'm one of them smilers. But I smile for a different reason. So I won't come across as being mean. People often get the wrong idea. And on an interesting note, just that morning, I had posted on the internet a thread about how to handle family situations, family gatherings, because I'm sort of an expert at that now. Check it out right here. On 30 Bananas a Day site, there I am, Christmas Survival Guide, how to help others make it a win-win. Let's see, motions, don't push your diet too much, some don'ts, yeah. Don't lecture people while they're eating. Yeah, that's gonna end badly. Don't say the V words. Do resist the temptation to say everything, because we're really advanced. People won't understand that. In conclusion, well, he seemed to know that I was really into health. Oh, I want to mention that I never used any V words. That's right. I make that a point. Now, I don't want to argue about veganism. I just keep it light. Got to meet people halfway, because veganism will just be an argument. Got to start out small. I keep finding bottles. At one point, the low carber that I live with mentioned that I'm starting up a health business. And so later on, the other guy said, he turned to me and said, since you're into health, let me ask you a question. That was exciting. Never had anyone say that, using those words. He asked that age-old question. I can understand wanting to be healthy and trying to eat right and be healthy, but is it really worth it just to make it to 90? That's one of my big pet peeves. Well, first I replied to that saying, a lot of people do want to live till 90. But then I brought up, there's also quality of life. I'm not doing all this just for some time in far future. I'm living the benefits right now. And of course I didn't, I had no chance with two middle-aged white men who are have big egos and do a lot of the talking. I didn't mention I didn't mention, of course, the effects of the environment, which is huge. Or, of course, animals, you know. Because I'd hate to see how they would respond to that. Because most people they just make excuses. It's so depressing. But anyway, I said quality of life. And just about everyone there nodded. They go, yeah, that's right. Especially the young people there who weren't really involved in the conversation. They were listening. I hope at least, you know, they were, except some of the things that I said about the big ego. So I'm at the end of the road here. It's time to go. Start working on my next video. See you then. Give me a thumbs up for kicking some butt, planting some seeds. See you later.